Hello, hello, people. Celebrity hypnotist. Ooh. Oh, so let's turn this bloody phone off. So, little check. Can I be seen? Can I be heard, people? Someone give me a thumbs up or a yes. You can be heard, Dan. Come on, there's 6 of you watching at the moment according to my stats. Can we hear Grumpy? Can we hear him? Hallelujah. Thank you, Ekaterina. Okie dokie. Right, so let's have a look who is on. The good people. Paul Hansen. Hello there, mate. The vegan mooncat. I'm early, so you can't moan. For once in your life, you're early. Well, you can always go topless. No, we can't go topless. Muddy paws. Oh, they are. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Katya Marinova, how are you? I hope you're still holding the castle strong. I hope you're still holding that castle. Celebrity hypnotist, howdy, hello. Don't hypnotize me. Don't have me doing weird things. Level Joy, hello. How are you? What's it like in Europe at the momento? No, vegan mooncat, right? I'm not falling for that again, right? So, don't even go there. Don't even go there. I fell for it last time, hook, line and sinker. Yes, you're very funny, vegan mooncat. Very funny. Very, very funny. Right, today, my guest is Emma Morgan. Hello, Sarah B. She was a topless... Hello, Leon. She was a topless model in the 90s. For those of you who are unaware, in the 80s, 70s, 80s and 90s, if you turn to page 3 of a local newspaper like The Sun or The Mirror in the UK, you'd get the beautiful sight of a beautiful lady with her knick-knacks out. It was bloody lovely. But the Women's Lib Brigade and all that stuff all put an end to it. Good for us teen boys, but not very good for the ladies. Oh, she's disappeared again. I did have my guest a minute ago, and she's disappeared again. Oh, we've got Michelle Lowe on. We've got Leon on. We've got the Vegan Realist. Hi there. You're ordering pizza with pineapple. And Vegan Pixie Warrior. Okay, so Emma's got an amazing story to tell us all. The reason I'm doing this stream is to do with the acting side of things, because me and Emma actually met on the acting circuit, and her story is amazing. It's an amazing story, and I can't wait for you all to hear what happened to this lady. It was amazing, and it's nothing to do with veganism, but we will grill her near the end about veganism. We will grill her. Don't worry, she ain't getting away with it. She can't come on a vegan channel without getting grilled about veganism. So without further ado, let's bring on the lovely Emma.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you, Danny boy?
You look amazing. Do you look...
I put a bit of slap on because it wasn't a pretty sight before, let me tell you.
I will do it like that. I will do it like that so we can see 2 beautiful faces on there. Right, we've got a lovely set of people on here coming having a nosy to see what's going on, Emma. So if you just want to... Yeah, if you want to...
thinking no bugger would turn up. Like,
I was panicking at 6. I was panicking at 6 o'clock when you weren't even on the stream, and I'm like ringing. And I should have known. I should have known, darling. Right, do you want to introduce yourself to the people out there? Let them know a little bit about you.
Hiya, my name's Emma Morgan. I'd like to think of myself as more of an actress these days, but for some reason you just never seem to shake that page 3 girl title. I know that because some of the girls who are now in their 60s, they walk into a bar and they still get, there's that page 3 girl. She's fucking 60 with 10 grandkids, but she's still a page 3 girl. So I think I'll always have that little, and I'm not ashamed to have that, but it'd be nice sometimes for people to look a little bit past it. But hey ho.
Somebody's saying your volume's a little bit low, Emma. I don't know whether you want to just like maybe speak up a bit, or I don't know.
If there's something I can do about that. I've got a.
Don't break it. Don't break it.
I've got a very
please.
big gob. Is that any better at all? Can I do anything, Danny?
I don't think you can. I think crank up the volume. I don't know. I don't trust Mooncat. Emma's volume is quite low. Let me have a look. Edit mic settings. Right, okay. Let's automatically adjust. Right, hang on a minute. Right, let's try that. Try that now. Speak, Emma. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How the bloody hell are you?
Is that better, guys? There was a volume button, so I've managed to turn it up. Let's do it again. Let's turn it up to full. Right, that's on full now.
Yeah, any better?
Well, you sound louder to me, so I'm hoping. Well, you just still after all open your ears, won't you?
Yeah.
Open your bloody ears.
Out.
But I know what you're saying about. I'll tell you what. I'll back off from the mic a bit so people can maybe turn the volume up, and then maybe we might be a little bit. I'll sit back a bit. But yeah, I get tagged with with me being a shepherd. Like I'll never get rid of that one episode with the sheep many years ago. It's a bit better. Could do with more. Oh, right. Just turn your volumes up, people. I'm going to talk quieter so you can maybe hear her. I can hear fine, says Sarah B. So
I'm glad Sarah can hear. Me and Sarah will just have a chat. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we'll do. Okay, let's crank on then a little bit. So tell me, how did you get into page 3? I mean, obviously you're a good-looking girl, but there's plenty of good-looking girls in the UK. So how did you do it?
It's a bit of a funny story. Well, it wasn't funny at the time. I didn't bleeding laugh. But how old was I? I was 20. I just got married. I was 20 years of age. Just got married. Didn't have any boobs, I'll be honest. I was pretty flat-chested. And anyway, I got married, and my husband seemed to think that I was the best thing since sliced bread, which is really cute. And he used to liken me to his favourite page 3 girl, who's now a really good friend of mine. And he said, "You should do that." Her name back in the day was Tracy Elvick.
Right.
She doesn't go by that name anymore. And she was great. And he basically, cut a long story short, he sent a holiday snap of me off to the Sunday Sport of all papers. They were having a competition, like Find a New Face. It was Miss Sunday Sport. And he seemed to think that I would be great on that. But as much as I know I ended up doing it, but at the time I had no boobs. I thought I was flat-chested. I was very, very self-conscious. Like I wouldn't go topless on a beach or anything like that. And the thought of my dad or my brother seeing me with my boobs out in a paper was just mortifying. So I was living with him. Obviously, we're married. I was living in Fleetwood at the time, near Blackpool. And he came home from work with a paper, the Sport, put it on the side, and I was in it. Anyway, I told him to fuck off straight away. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, you can share. Yeah, you can swear all you want. Yeah.
So anyway,
Emma, just don't use the CUNT word.
I would say that.
Yeah, I know.
So he came home with a paper. Not the nicest paper in the world. Certainly not one that I wanted to be in. But there I was in the paper as a contestant in Miss Sunday Sport, and I went on to win the competition. At which point I said, all right, I'll forgive you. Because I think at first I was like, oh my God, he's going to make a fool of me. Why would you send my pictures off? And the next thing, I've won it. So I was like, oh, right, okay. And then it was a decision. Like I spoke to my mum and dad actually when I got heard back from that comp as a finalist, and asked them if they would mind if I did that. My dad was like, go for it. Like, go for it. My mum was like, if you must, you know, she wasn't. Yeah, I think she, you know, mums would be a kind of more. I don't know though. I think dads would be like, my daughter. No one's looking at my daughter's buddy bodies. But my dad is very intelligent man. He's kind of very even. He's not, doesn't get dramatic and silly. He sees things for what they are. And I think he just saw that as a really good opportunity for me, which it was to a degree.
Interesting. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know the Sunday Sport, let's just say that the news items in it were like something like aliens found on Mars, and there were just loads of like weird and wonderful stories in it. It was just an absolute comic.
It's just an absolute. Is it still going? I don't know if it's.
I don't know.
Going.
I don't know whether it is or not.
Their claim. I remember back when I was Miss Sunday Sport 1992, back when there was, you know, electricity just been invented. Their sort of claim, their tagline was, "There's a pair of tits on every page." So that was the sport, you know. Yeah. It was like Readers' Wives as opposed to Playboy.
It was aimed at the young lads, weren't it? The 20s and the builders.
It'd be on in all the porter cabins in the building site. It was just a bit of fun. I mean, it wasn't porn. If you wanted porn, you'd go and you'd get yourself top shelf magazines or whatever you did back then. So it wasn't like that, but it was just a very cheeky newspaper with far too many boobs and absolutely ludicrous stories. But so do the Sun print ludicrous stories, except we're meant to believe them. The Sunday Sport print theirs, and they know for a fact no one's going to listen to it. Rowley Hypnotist is on the page. And what did Rowley just say? Because Rowley knows quite a bit about what happened. They only print at weekends now, I believe. Otherwise, it's just online. How do you know about that, Rowley?
As a fan, someone's just said, is your mic covered up on your phone? Have you got your phone rested on something that's soft, or what have you got your phone rested on?
I'm going to take it on. It's actually just on my tripod. So hold on a sec.
Oh, it sounds better already as soon as you did that.
Shut up, really?
Yeah, it might be muffling your microphone because your microphone's at the bottom. Now I can't hear you at all.
This?
That's it. Oh, that's a lot better. It was better a minute ago. I think we have got it.
Have we? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think we've got it there. You do sound a little bit louder. I'm sure the people will let me know.
Yes.
It's like a paper attempted to mix fiction with reality. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So did you sort of move into the other mainstream papers then, like the Sun and the Star?
Eventually, not straight away. So it was 6 times so the main photographer to get onto page 3 of the Sun, which is the only paper you can actually call yourself a page 3 girl. If you're on page 3 of the Sport, you're not a page 3 girl. If you're on page 3 of the Star, you're not a page 3 girl. You have to be on the Sun to be a page 3 girl.
Oh.
So there was this thing about the lesser papers. I mean, a girl who was in the Sport was like, oh, she's only a sport model. You know, it was a bit like that. And then it was, she's only in the Star. She's not in the Sun. And then you'd be in the Sun, and then you could be like, So it was a really, really big deal. There was a lot of girls, I think more so back then than there are now. I mean, although there are a lot of girls who, I mean, Instagram is full of girls who want to be models and they're beautiful and stuff, but there's way more models out there than there is work.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys go back a bit, I mean, some girls really made a big career afterwards, didn't they? Like Melinda Messenger, Sam Fox, Kelly Brook, Katie Price, Jordan, the ultimate one, Lucy Pinder, Danielle Lloyd, Joe Guest.
Brilliant. I mean, amazing talents. Well, not talents necessarily,
but they've all seemed to have made a career following on from that, you know. So,
and I mean, I think that's what a lot of them hope to do. It's certainly what I hoped to do. Use it as a sort of a stepping stone, maybe to get into Helen. Yes, I'm going to come back to you, Helen, about the catty bitchy stuff.
Was he well paid? I know it's a vulgar question, but I'm interested. Was it well paid?
No, it wasn't as well paid as what people might have thought. And there was never any pay rises ever. Like, I was doing pastry for about 13 years. When I first started, it was a flat fee of 200 quid to be on Pastry of the Sun.
Wow. Man, you 30 years ago. So what could that equate to now? Maybe about £1,000 or something like that?
Well, as far as I'm aware, they were still paying £200 up until they stopped Page 3. And the reason for that, they could get away with that, is because it was the pinnacle. It was like we all wanted to be on Page 3 of the Sun. If you got onto Page 3 of the Sun and you got your title Pastry Girl, you could then, the door was open to so many other jobs.
So it opened up a modelling career for you. Yeah, I get you.
So that 200 quid was neither here nor there. Girls would have paid that 200 quid to get on, and some, to get onto Page 3.
Right, so the mic's good now, so we're all good.
Great, good. Sorry about that. I'm just not very good at this technical stuff. Catty and bitchy. Helen, I think it was, who asked me that. Helen Hawley. Do you know, surprisingly, I don't think it really was that bitchy or catty. You would expect it to be, wouldn't you? Maybe in the higher echelons of modelling, sort of the fashion models, you know, Naomi Campbell's and all that. Maybe it was a bit more then. I think there's a lot more at stake with that sort of stuff. Whereas with us girls, I think most of the Pastry girls kind of felt like, oh my fucking God, I'm a model. Like, that it was weird because we weren't your typical models. No one would look at you and say, I bet you're a model, because most Pastry girls are sort of 5'3" and under. I'm 5'1.5". Fashion models would laugh us out of the agency. We wouldn't stand a chance. So I think we started off as like, well, they're not really models. They're only getting their boobs out. They're only this, they're only that. But seriously, there was more to it than that.
I mean, come on, Em. Look at these things like The Only Way's Essex and The Only Way's Chelsea. What the fuck are they? There's no talent there. They're only going and, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of this about, and Big Brother, and so you saying that they're only getting the boobs out. Well, it's not just that, is it? It was exposure to a mass audience at the time.
Yeah, it was. And I think as well, people used to say to me back in the day, don't you feel that you're being taken advantage of? You know, you're being, what's the bloody word?
Oh yeah,
you won't think of it now, so I just asked you what it is.
Exactly. Well, I was going to ask you about that anyway. You're being objectified. I mean, looking back with hindsight, we're going to move on in a minute. Any questions out there, guys? Just and also, please, I want to hear your comments on this. Looking back with hindsight, do you think it was exploited?
Exploited, yes.
Yes, exploited. So, with hindsight, would you say that it was an exploitative industry? And also, would you say that it degraded women?
Okay.
Looking back, not at the time, now, looking at now and then looking back.
I pretty much have the same views now as what I did back then. It didn't change much, and I remember doing a shoot for Loaded. It was either Loaded or FHM when they first came out, and it was like this big interview and expose, and they were really interested to know whether or not I'd been exploited, whether or not I felt objectified, and whether it was a bad thing for women and all the rest of it. And I said, at the end of the day, if me being a very, very young woman, paying for a lovely little flat in London, all the clothes, all the things that were important to me at the time. We now know clothes and bloody apartments aren't the be all and end all, but I was a young kid. I was driving about in the top of the range BM. I was everywhere. I was floating about. It was fantastic. And they were like, are you being exploited? And I was like, no, the dickheads who are paying me the money are being exploited. I'm having a fucking great time. As far as, does it objectify? Are you being objectified? Of course you are. You're getting work because you've got a pretty body or a pretty face, and men or women, I had a lot of gay fans as well, ladies, enjoy looking at your picture. Well, I'm sorry, I mean, particularly nowadays, you've only got a click of a button. You can see a hell of a lot more than a pair of boobs and a little smile.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And the thing is, I mean, the woman's body has always been objectified for centuries.
yes.
If you look at all the works of art, you know, the naked ladies, the cherubs,
Yeah.
the woman's body, Leonardo da Vinci, they've all used women's bodies. Even photographers, right up
Yes.
until this modern day, photographers photograph the woman's body because it is a beautiful thing. And I'm struggling with the ethics of it. You know, was it ethically right to have young women? And I'm sort of borderline on whether it's right or wrong. The only thing I didn't agree with them back in the day was the stick thin models, the size 0 models, because that
And that
prompted.
was more in your fashion, and I completely get that. I mean, this is how it's very different with the page 3 girls. We tend to be quite small and with very curvy bodies, whereas you fashion models, they want them to be very, very long and tall. What is this? You could argue it's celebrating beautiful women.
Sorry,
and you could argue it was objectifying them, but I'd say now it's outdated. Dan, I agree with you. It's totally outdated. I think it's been seen, it's been done.
Yeah, but it's only because it's been overtaken by modern technology.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, there's topless models on Twitter. Not that I know, a friend told me.
OnlyFans, all that kind of
OnlyFans,
stuff.
exactly. There's another example. There's a big YouTuber called Vegan Gains, and he does OnlyFans, and his wife. They both do it, and they make money from it. And he says, well, what the hell, I'm making money from it? If someone wants to pay me to look at my naked body, go ahead.
Absolutely. I think the difference is, though, like when it was in the sun, that's a very, Rolly has just brought up a good point. I need to get back to that. In fact, I'm going to go to it now. I can't jump from one to the other. You'll see, and I just lose it. So just remind me if I go off track. So, yes. Now, when I started, the very first time I made it onto page 3, I was 22 years of age. So I was more than an adult. I knew what I was doing. You know, it was fine. But years before me, Samantha Fox, she was doing this big countdown to her 16th birthday. Lindsay Dawn McKenzie did the same thing. I think even Maria Whittaker.
I mean, let's just set the scene. Let's just set the scene. Sorry to keep interrupting them, but let's just set the scene that you could not go topless in the newspaper until you were 16. That was the law. That was the reason for it. So sorry, Em.
So sorry about that. Yeah. So what they actually did, and I think it's like really, really creepy, is they had these girls doing pictures like in little school uniforms, you know, but like covering their boobs and all little cheeky things. And then it was like we're counting down, and it'll be like Friday. And I remember at the time, I'm younger than Sam Fox, but I remember her picture going on the day that she was 16. And we did something for Channel 4 recently. It was the 50th anniversary of Page 3, and we all got together.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he was on that. Yeah.
And Sam actually was talking about how the day that she was 16 and she appeared topless in the sun, she actually had to go into school that day. Like, she's a 16-year-old girl at school. The whole school has seen her boobs. The teachers, I mean, that for me, that's like paedophilia. It's like. It's just, I'm sorry, I know it isn't. I know 16 is the legal age, but bloody hell.
It is sort of the wrong. I mean, yeah.
Well, you've got to be 18 now. I think they wouldn't allow it. So why did that change? If 16 is the age of sexual consent in this country, why did they feel that was not old enough to be on page 3?
As long as they're over 18, have capacity and not forced, then it's a choice. But counting down is a bit creepy. Yeah, it is. It was.
Yeah, they really, for me, they were making a play of the whole schoolgirl thing. Objectifying a pic is not the same as dehumanizing women as a whole. Difference is subtle, but I think very important. I think it discredits sex workers and models, and is a concept we should shed. Yeah, I mean, it isn't the same objectifying. We knew at the end of the day when we did a picture in the paper that somebody might decide to take that picture into the toilet with them. All right, you know, and you don't think about that. But in the same thing, someone can get their thrills out of all sorts of things that you would never even believe that they are doing. And I think as well with page 3, it's kind of very tame, and most of the people that are into the page 3 stuff, they could quite easily be into something a bit more hardcore or heavy elsewhere. So I always felt it was like more like the girl next door, no real harm. But obviously there are a lot of other areas of glamour modeling that isn't quite so nice and clean cut.
Slightly Crazy Vegan. Hey everyone. Slightly Crazy Vegan, Emma. She's a nudist, and she does nudist cooking shows, vegan cooking shows.
Oh wow!
Totally naked, but she's always got very strategically placed utensils to hide things.
But she's great things with a marrow.
Bev, there's more to this story than just the page 3. I do understand that you were like teaching women's rights and all that stuff. She's an old style feminist, but stay on the stream. There's an amazing story. Okay, so let's get back to the story. So we're plodding along. We've got some nice jobs. Excuse me. You've got a career. You're now getting your little modelling jobs here and there. You've got some money in the bank. You're driving around in a nice car. You've got a swish pad in London. What happened next?
Okay, so I started to move into doing bits of, I wouldn't say acting, but I started to do a live TV show on a Friday. It was a bit like, do you remember years ago the James Whale show?
Yes.
So it was quite similar to that, but it wasn't with James Whale. It was with this other guy who looked like James, called Caesar the Geezer.
Caesar the Geezer.
Caesar the Geezer. And we would go out live on a Friday for a couple of hours and stuff. And I was kind of getting more and more known, and started to get a few bits and bobs of television jobs. Supermarket Sweep. I was on there for a couple of years, which was great. And something pretty horrible happened there, but we'll save that for another time.
Dale Winton?
Dale Winton, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know you.
He was lovely. I mean, it was great. Everything was really, really happening for me. You know, I was getting to the top of my game, and I was one of the highest earners at my agency. I was getting booked all the time. I wasn't even needing to go to auditions. It was just people were ringing up and booking me, and then it seemed that I was decent in front of the camera. So I was getting kind of excited that it was starting to progress and starting to lead somewhere else. And then one day I remember getting this phone call from a photographer that I knew and respected. It was around Christmas time. And he's like, Emma, this amazing thing has happened. There's this Arab guy who's part of the royal family over in
Saudi.
I think it was Saudi. They might have said, or Dubai or something like that. He's a huge fan of yours. You're his favorite page 3 girl. Basically, obviously you can't show much skin over there in the Middle East, but they've got this brand new calendar thing that they're launching, and it's going to be girls in bikinis, and it's a big deal. And he wants you to be the star of the show. He wants to fly you over, helicopters, red carpet, dressed head to toe in Chanel, launch parties, blah blah blah. Do you fancy it? And I was like, of course I do. Are you mad?
How old were you this time?
I was 23.
23, so
24.
Still quite young.
Very young, yeah.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you can't obviously speak to the prince, but I'll give you the number. If it's okay with you, I'll pass your number on to the photographer. So I was like, great. So cut a long story short, after a few meetings, never with the prince himself, but with his team at the Savoy Hotel in London, they would send limos to pick me up to go to the hotel just to meet with his people, sending me bouquet, like 200 red roses, Jeroboa of champagne. I mean, I was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, convinced that there was a prince who was mad about me and was going to be spending stupid amounts of money just to get me to do a shoot that I'd normally get paid, say, £1,000 for. All right. So eventually it happens. I'm on a plane. I'm flying over. They flew me over to Lanzarote to do this shoot, which is a bit strange because it's not the greatest location. But anyway, I wasn't complaining. I got picked up at the airport by a bodyguard, which I thought was strange because it wasn't like back in the days of Sam Fox. Sam Fox would get mobbed walking down the street. I never did. I'd get maybe 1 or 2 people saying, "You Emma Morgan, can I get an autograph?" That would be it. And I'd be buzzing when that happened. Some of the girls were like, "Oh, it's so annoying." And I was like, "Fuck off, I love it." Anyway, so I get picked up at the airport in Lanzarote by this guy who's my bodyguard. He's got a sign there holding for my name. Pick me up. Second, he put me into the car. He was driving me. He asked me if I wanted some cocaine. And I thought it was a bit odd. And I was like, "No, I'm all right, thanks. Thanks." I said, "Are you sure the prince loves a party girl and all the rest of it?" I went, no, you're fine. It's fine. I had it. I had it at this point. It wasn't a new thing to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was like a regular user, but I'd been out. I'd only tried it for the very first time about 6 months before this. I'd probably had it 2 or 3 times. Wasn't a big fan. Anyway, he was sort of asking me, did I want some? No, I didn't. I've gone to my suite in the hotel, and the plan was I'm going to get ready, and then later on that evening we're going to meet the prince and we're going to go out for dinner, and the shoot was going to be the following day. So I was all excited. Don't forget, I'm only a young girl getting ready. I was absolutely shaking, thinking, "Oh my God, he's a prince." And I was told to go knock on the door, go to the room, say hi. We're all going to meet there. So I've knocked on. I was actually thinking, God, I hope he's not there on his own and he's going to put me in, how much of a fan is he? Anyway, I knocked on the door, and the bodyguard was there. The photographer who I'd already met was there, and the prince was there. And he was very, very, very charming. Again, champagne everywhere, talking about the launch party. I mean, really, I was sat there thinking, oh my God, I've made it. So not long into the evening, about 10, 15 minutes in, the bodyguard again starts doing coke, and he's nudging me. "Do you want some?" And I'm thinking, he's going to ruin it for me here. What? Anyway, the next thing, the prince is like, no, you do. Oh, you do that because I don't like boring people. And if you're going to be at the launch party, I need to know that you're okay. And so he's now got me thinking, if I don't do that, is he going to think, "Oh no, she's boring. I'll have to work with somebody else"?
So he's basically goading you into it. He was trying to goad you into it. Yeah.
Totally suckering me in. And honestly, I didn't want to have it. I didn't want to do it. But I thought, well, it's not going to be. So I had a line. Oh, in fact, no, I didn't. I said, because I don't think it's very nice. I don't think it's big and it's clever. I said, "No, I'm not doing it in front of you. It's not very ladylike." So I went to the toilets with it. So they never seen me do it. I've come back from the toilet and put it there on the side. Well, that's not good enough for him. He hasn't got a photograph. I've given it away a bit. The next thing, the prince then gets me to one side and asks me if I could get him some cocaine. And I was a bit confused because I said, "Well, your bodyguard has it. Like, I don't have it." "No, but he said, "I'm royal. I can't go ask it." He said, "I don't trust him. Something about him I don't trust. I do trust you. If you could get it off him for me, I'd really appreciate it, and just drop it off at my room later." Straight away, I thought, he's trying to get me to go back to his room with him. Because that's the only thing that for me, that was the only thing that I needed to be scared of. I was always scared of sexual predators because obviously you're a young, pretty girl. You might be around them. You've got no top on. It's scary. You're putting yourself out there. And that was what I was always scared of happening to me. So straight away, alarm bells. So I said to the bloody bodyguard guy, who, as it turned out, was a drug dealer, that he wanted some cocaine. And I said, but can you give it to me and I'll give it to him? But so he said, yes, he would do that. And then I decided I was too scared. Later on, I said, I'm too scared. I don't want to go to his room with it. I said, because if he propositions me and I say no, I'm going to lose the job. So I'd rather just pretend I forgot. But he was adamant, this guy. His name was Billy. Billy was adamant. No, don't let him down. You've got to just take it. You'll be fine. I went, no, I don't. I'd rather just say I forgot. No. He said, I tell you what, just push it under his door and then send him a text and say it's there. I went, oh, great idea. Because I thought that way he's happy. I'm not in any danger.
So you're a 23-year-old girl and you're surrounded by adults.
Yes.
I mean, I know you're an adult yourself, but you're surrounded by what you thought was drug dealers, Arab princes, this job, this career.
Way over my head. I just wanted to do what I had to do. Like, I didn't want the guy to think I was a party pooper. He kept going on about how important, how fabulous the parties are, and so he was encouraging me to be this kind of like bad girl, if you like. Then he asked me, he kind of said I was the only person he trusted. If somebody tells you that they really trust you, it makes you trust them. And it kind of felt like I'm really doing this guy a favor, like he's going to look after me because I've done this. But what happened was the prince was an investigative reporter who worked for the News of the World, and the bodyguard was a drug dealer paid for by the News of the World. The photographer was a photographer who worked for the News of the World. And the whole point, everything was all so that they could nail me to say that I was a drug dealer. So from that experience, there was a newspaper story that involved me and some other girls, a double-page spread that said I was a mob-connected drug smuggler. They said that I smuggled cocaine by the kilo and ecstasy tablets. I don't know where they dragged that one from, in the thousands, and I smuggled them from Lanzarote to England, and I was connected to the mob and all. It was an absolute crock of shit. So
this Sheikh, he wasn't actually the fake Sheikh. He wasn't even from Saudi. He was English.
He was a Pakistani man, actually.
Right. Okay.
He was a Pakistani man.
But he was a UK citizen.
He was a UK citizen.
UK citizen. And he was working for the News of the World.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happened was, Danny, some years later, many, many years later, there was a story in the paper and it involved Talisa, the singer.
Right, one second, mate. I've actually done this because I knew the story, but I'm going to put something up now because it might remind people's...
I don't know if Rowley's still on the line, but they got Rowley.
There we go. So we'll share this. So if you don't know, guys, Talisa was on the X Factor. She was a judge on the X Factor. And she was also in a band called the End-Ups. And this him, Mazzy Mahmood?
Yeah, that's
him
Mahmood.
there.
Yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
So he did the same thing to Talisa. So I'm just sat at home minding my own business, and all of a sudden I see this thing about Talisa, about how she's a cocaine dealer and she's a gangster and she's this, that, and the other. And then it was a paper, and I read it, and I looked at the byline, and it was Mazza Mahmood. So I actually got in contact with Talisa's legal firm and told them that exactly the same thing had happened to me. Basically, he'd done the same thing. I think he promised Talisa an acting role in a movie with one of the greats. Who was it? Robert De Niro or somebody like that. I think he told her she was going to be in a film with him. He stitched up so many people. So basically, Talisa was managed to prove that he was a liar, and he ended up getting 15 months prison time, which you know, he was out in 7.5.
But at least that exonerates you, Emma, as well.
It totally exonerates me. I
because,
was contacted by the photographer who was working for the News of the World some years later, turned supergrass. His name's Steve Grayson, and thankfully Steve admitted that I was set up by him, along with a lot of other people as well. And Panorama, he does look like an arse, Leon, thank you. Not even an attractive arse, like a bad arse. We ended up on Panorama, on BBC's Panorama. Steve Grayson came on, told them that Mazza Mahmood was an absolute scumbag, basically, that he'd set me up. He said Emma Morgan was not a drug dealer. We were the drug dealers. We were the ones who were at fault.
I mean, I'm just reading some of the report here, and it says over the last 25 years, innumerable lives have been ruined by the dishonest actions of Mazza Mahmood. People have lost their livelihoods, their homes and relationships, with some spending time in prison. So, loads unreal.
Herbie Hyde, the heavyweight boxer, went to jail. That man went to jail, and that man should not have been in jail. John Alford, the little actor out of London's Burning, I don't know if you remember him, a little cheeky thing.
Yes, I do.
He went to jail. He's never been the same since, that kid. Rowley, I don't know if Rowley's still there.
Rowley's still there. I've seen him.
He went to jail. It's just ridiculous. He's done all sorts. He did Sarah Ferguson, Sven-Goran Eriksson, the Beckhams, loads of. I mean, the man's vile. He even set his own brother up. His own brother. So it is great that we all.
I don't sell any. I don't sell any drugs. Don't come that.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to play a little bit of this. This is your interview on the news a little while ago.
Yeah.
Let's just play a little bit of this.
I took a package of cocaine from Billy and passed it to Mazza Mahmood. If that's drug dealing, then I'm guilty of that.
Right. So what are you now trying to prove then? What is the case that you're prosecuting? This is a civil case, right?
Yes, it is.
And what are you trying to suggest that he did?
What I'm suggesting that he did was turn a little bit of smoke into a massive amount of fire, accusing me of being a drug smuggler.
Destroying the reputation.
Destroying my reputation. My career just ended. Page 3 didn't want me anymore. The Sun, I got evicted from my flat. I was doing some acting work at the time, and I was due to start a good TV job. That went by the wayside when they did a press check and saw that I was this international drug smuggler.
Right, but you were never prosecuted for all those things that he accused you of?
No, I was never prosecuted. The police said that it was entrapment, and they were sick of Mazza Mahmood doing this type of thing.
This was when then? How long ago was this?
This was 19 years ago, and that was the CID back in Charing Cross, who were absolutely horrified by what Mazza Mahmood was getting up to. He'd done it many, many times before, they said, and they said he was causing people to act in a criminal way that wouldn't otherwise have done so, which is exactly what he did to me.
Right. Well, you'll have a job not proving it, but you'll have a job getting damages, won't you? Because there's a statute of limitations on civil proceedings.
Well, no, there isn't actually. That's all fine. There's no statute of limitations because I tried to do something about it at the time. I'd have contacted a QC in Westminster who advised me not to take the News of the World to court, and apparently that was wrong advice, and because of that, things are okay. I will be able to claim damages. I took a package of cocaine from.
A little bit of an update there. What didn't come on that interview. I said no, I wasn't prosecuted, but I was persecuted for years. And the thing about the getting compensation is, although at the time they were saying it was a civil case, we now have found the proof that I was phone hacked and that the information I had an illegal investigation put out onto me, which, now makes it a criminal case. And there's no statute of limitations on crime. So up yours, Murdoch. I'm coming for you.
Yes, I like it. Is this the guy you keep mentioning?
John Alford is in court in November suing Murdoch, and my appeal against conviction is currently at court appeal in London. as explained in the link. So celebrity hypnotist, it keeps coming up, was also
Yeah.
one of Mazza Mahmood's victims. So
Really?
yeah, so that's why he's got this interest. Like, we were all there at the Old Bailey watching him go down. Herbie, John, myself, Rowley, loads of us are all still pals. Tremendous. You can get to High Court, just like John Alford is this November. Yes. So I'm sitting there now waiting. He was hacked. There's all sorts of phone hackings and stuff going on. But we know that. We know what dirty, horrible rags they are. But still, people still believe it. And I was persecuted for that for years. I couldn't get any modelling jobs and other than the sport. No offence, David Sullivan, but nobody wants to be in your paper. So all I'm getting is the barrels of stuff. And at the time, I was about so close to becoming a sports presenter for Sky. I was pretty much the only woman who knew the offside rule, I think, at the time. And I would have had an amazing career, but thanks to that prick, it went.
Mud sticks, yeah, that's the bad thing.
Sticks.
Yeah.
It does, Helen.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying to you, Danny, wasn't I? I said, let's not touch too much on the cocaine-y pastry thing but do you know what? I should be able to discuss it and come away without people going, oh yeah, I don't mind people saying, oh, she was the one who was stitched up by them. But, you know, I'm an actress now. I don't want this to be there, but it isn't. If you Google me now, it comes up with acting, which is brilliant. Because for years it came up with Mazza Mahmood, drugs, dirt. And if you just looked at the headlines, you might be thinking, oh, I'm not going to get involved with this girl.
But I mean, acting though, that's a bit dubious as well, to be honest with you. I mean, I've done a few things with you, and it's very dubious that, but we won't get into that.
Well, thankfully, I love the comedy. I've got a bit of a sewer mouth at times. You know, I'm not a squeaky clean kind of actor. Kind of things that you would see me in is like Shameless, Brassic, that sort of a thing.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
we'll see. Well, let's talk about that in a minute. We're going to move on to that in a minute. I'm just a bit celebrity hypnotist. So is he been on TV? Should we know who he is? Celebrity hypnotist, or is he staying anonymous?
No, Rowley, are you there? He's a hypnotist. Rowley.
Would we have seen him on TV?
Yes, he's been on television. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who he was until before this. But
he was big in the early 90s, it says.
Yeah, which is when I was as well. So a lot of these cases are back from them, you know. Yes, DJ Cat Murdoch is pure evil. So this is great. This is astonishing. Ask Bags will always try to ruin someone. Due to yes, thank you.
See, you're getting love. You're getting love from us.
I know,
you're getting love from us. You know?
I'm glad. I am glad. You know.
TV stuff screwed when fake Sheikh stuff. I see. This is disgusting because the fight you have to do to get somewhere, and then for it to all come crashing down by some dubious, disgusting fucking guy like that just to sell a few shitty newspapers.
But
I find it.
Dan, it's kind of like if you're a bit of a star in America, that whole country get behind you and they're like, hey, look at our guy, he's fucking awesome. You do it in England, build you up so they can come with a bat and go fuck off.
Yeah,
because it was literally, I was a pastry girl for the Sun. The News of the World and the Sun are owned by the same guy, same papers, so the Sun, pastry all the time. Regular as clockwork in there all the time. And then, bam, smack me down. I'm like, they bring you up with the left hand and they slap you down with the right hand. It's just fucked up. Really. Oh,
some of my ideas have been used on Durham Brown's TV shows with my permission. Oh, nice one, mate.
Oh, yeah,
nice
he's
one.
proper. He's kosher, aren't you? Aren't you, Rowley?
You'll have to hypnotise Emma to see if you can get her some talent for acting.
Piss off you.
Right, let's talk about the acting. Okay, let's move off this now. Let's go to something positive. So
£1 million payout's pretty fucking positive, Dan, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it comes.
See.
That tenner I lent you ages ago, that's building up some big interest, by the way, if you do get paid out. But I know you'd look after me. I'd be your gardener.
I'd
be
you
your
a
gardener.
big bag of carrots.
Listen, we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to tell people the names you used to call me, so don't get too cocky.
All right.
You've got them on your side now, so just be very careful.
Stay with me, people.
So let's talk about the acting career. So you dabbled in the acting. You got a few TV appearances. You got a bug for it. When did you decide to go down the sort of real acting route, not sort of resting on your laurels from your fame and then your infamy? What sort of?
I think what really got me I've always had the acting bug. When I was a kid, I was from Essex originally. We ended up living in Florida for a few years with my mum and dad and my brother. And I was like part of the Mickey Mouse Club, and I was performing at Disney World. I was just a very sort of jazz hands type kid. Yeah. I just always loved it. But it wasn't until much later I started to do, when I was doing Supermarket Sweep, when I was at the height of my game there in the modelling world, it became apparent that I could ad-lib quite well, and I had a bit of a good humour and all the rest of it. And I was getting a lot of traction from being on this other show that I was doing, the late night show with Caesar the Geezer. And honestly, I was, a lot of doors were opening for me then. And then, of course, it all came crashing down. I tried to get back into the acting after that, but I think it just sticks. Like somebody said, I think Helen said, mud sticks, or Leon. And it does. And it really does stick. But it wasn't until I found myself, after all that happened, went on to have children. I then went on to leave the father of said children because he was a wanker. So I'm a single mum now. Okay. Going back a few years ago, I didn't have a shilling. I had nothing. Some days I couldn't eat. I'm scratching to get the electric on. So you can imagine what it's like. I've got 3 kids.
Oh, I've been there, mate.
5, 3 and 0 on my own. No bleeding money. I want to be an actress. You watch it, you've got no chance. Acting lessons, 20 quid an hour. Well, I'm not doing it. So I started to do extra work, hoping that somebody might think that girl over there playing the bush has got something, you know. So I played many bushes, lampposts, tables and whatnot in background. And some of the actors, the real actors I saw, I wasn't overly impressed with. And I thought, and I think every supporting artist has said this, I could be better than her, she's shit. But I didn't want to be one of those girls, but I was one of those girls. And I thought, do you know what? I know I make a good bush, but I really think I should be talking. So I couldn't afford acting lessons. And a good friend of mine, David DiGiorgio, bless him, said, Emma, have you ever thought about going the theatre route? And I was like, oh, I couldn't get in front of a live audience. Oh, terrible. He said, you need to do it. That's where you're going to learn to act for free. So a friend of his owned a theatre production company, and he said, listen, go get hold of him, ask him, has he got any auditions coming up? Try and get a tiny weeny little part in one of his plays. If he sees something in you, he'll keep you on, he'll develop you. Excuse me, is that Coca-Cola?
Excuse me.
Don't fucking start, everybody. So I went and auditioned, and I didn't get the first role. I auditioned to play somebody's mother, but I didn't look old enough. So I didn't get that. But I went back. He wanted somebody playing an absolute lunatic. And of course, I got that role. Only a tiny role. But his play was a 3-month rehearsal process. So although I only had this tiny little part, for 3 months, I sat and I watched and I learned from some exceptionally talented actors. And when I say, I don't say that lightly, these people are unbelievably good actors. 9 shows later, or is it 10, I must have done well over 1,000 hours of acting when you equate the rehearsal times, show weeks, midweek rehearsals, Zoom, this, that, the other. To be able to do that would have mean, for me to do that amount of work on acting, I would have either had to do a 3-year degree or done like 12 years of classes. So for me, it condensed it right in. And I've just finished a 2.5-hour play where I was the lead of a show with that same production company.
I went and saw that show, didn't I, when you did it live at the King's Arms?
Yes, you did.
And you got your boobs out there, didn't you?
I did, I know.
And that's the only reason I went.
Well, it's
Oh,
they're a draw. Hey, they're all right as well.
But, right, so, I mean, I've done stage twice, and it frightened the shit out of me. But I'm a similar story to you, that I went down the student film route, and I learned I did loads. But we first met at an audition, and you didn't know this at the time, but I'd never done any acting before that ever. And I walked into that audition off the street dressed as a homeless guy, and you were there at the audition, and there were hundreds of people there. And that was the first time we met, and we clicked straight away.
We did, and we both nailed it, and we both got the job.
I got the lead role. You got the
lead role. I think I was a prostitute, wasn't I? You know, I always get
yeah. Well, I was only playing a homeless guy, you know what I mean? So I weren't much different from you, you know what I mean? We're both street people.
Exactly.
So
it was fantastic, and we did click. And I think maybe obviously the age of us, because we're old bastards, and a lot of them are quite young. So, and we both kind of slipped in through the back door. And that's not with any disrespect to the kids who've gone out there and slogged doing their masters and their degrees and, you know, these amazing schools that they get into, because that would be great. But I guess time isn't on our side. We have entered into the game a bit on the late side, and it's a case of doing as much as we can in as small amount of time as possible, you know. Sorry, I didn't see that. What does Leon say?
Leon said, when I did a play for school, they told me to give theatre a go because of mimicry. I never did. I wonder if I fucked up there. And then, well, it's never too late, Leon. You can go to it. You can do it now. You can go, like Emma did, just go to production. They're always looking for people to join the productions. Do it. What's stopping you?
Like, there's a really good who I'm with Mint Casting Agency in Manchester. They're a huge agency. They do a lot of background work, which is extra work. Vertigo Theatre. Oh.
The fact is, Emma has a huge talent as an actress. She was green, didn't have a clue about theatre, but now she's a lead in brand new film production of my play, and she's phenomenal. I know who that is. I know who that guy is. I love your stuff, by the way. I love your stuff. It's great, and it was a great sort of. I think 2 I come and watched at the King's Arms. That one, and what was the one before it? Where there was 2 I watched. It was that crazy one. It was the crazy one where the wall
fell on my head.
Yes.
The great American 80s soap opera.
Yes, that one. I watched that one as well. I loved that one. Yeah.
I loved it.
So yeah, Vertigo Theatre. I totally agree with you. She is. I mean, we've done quite a few things together, me and Emma. I think we've done over 1, 2, 3, 4 little productions, indie productions together, and the show reel. So yeah. Grumpy Vegan Grandad, stop sucking up. You can't act.
I know without fans on it.
I bet you will be better than Grumpy. Yeah, all right. Fucking hell. Never too late for anything, including going, oh, don't worry, that's coming up. Don't worry, that's coming up.
I'm going to get it.
So we did some theatre work, and then we managed to find, you did Doorways with me. To a point, and then that went a bit awry with the production assistant, a cameraman walking out, the editor walking out, stomping his feet.
It's strange, yeah.
Oh, it was all a strange thing. But that set me on my path, because people said, you've got a talent. And people said to you, you've got a talent. And when people say that to you, you've got to act on it. You think, well, if I've got something, I must act on it. So you did. So where's that led you now? Where's it all looking now?
Wow. Do you know what?
Can people see this production? Is it online? This production now.
It's going to be able to stream. I think it's going to be the 20th. If Craig's still about, I think it's now the 20th of April. We've pushed it back a few days because it's in edit. And
what's it going to be on? Is there any social media people can click on to have a look?
Yeah, if you, oh gosh, how do
I'll search it out now. Is it on Facebook or is it?
Yeah, if you go on my page on Facebook, actually, is Craig still there? I don't know if the streaming link has been actually put up there yet, but there will be links going up on my page, or you can follow the Noir Facebook page. And
hang on, I'm going to find it. I know how to spell Noir.
Yes.
Bloody hell, Emma. Oh, that's not him. That's not. No, it's not coming up. That.
So I'll just tell you. So you're going to be able to rent it or buy it. It'll be getting streamed live, and basically, when you watch it, it's going to look like you're watching an old black and white movie. So it's black and white with pops of red going through it. So a lot of people say it's quite Sin City, the way it's stylized.
Right, I'm going to put this picture up. I'm hoping it's the right picture from the right thing. 1 second. Where's it gone?
Clever, Danny. Oh mate, you're not clever, Danny.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is myself with the wonderful Steve Connolly, who narrates all the way through it. You know, like these old movies, you always see the detective with the dick. Yeah, so Steve's our private detective. That shot there is in colour, but you can rent and buy it from Vimeo from April the 20th. Thank you, Craig.
There you go.
So if you rent it, I believe you get it for like 48 hours and you can watch it at any point. If you buy it, obviously it's there forever and ever.
Always had a soft spot for voice acting. Fear is a big thing holding me back, though, especially extra with COVID, as I'm part of the risk of it. Honestly, I don't know where or how to start. Go on, Emma.
Get yourself into an extras agency. Contact Mint Casting in Manchester. Maybe join some acting groups on Facebook. Noir, the stylish and stunning Facebook page. Yes, that's where you need to go.
That's what you search for, yeah.
But there are so many opportunities, even like a bit of I Like You Too, Pixie. You know, there's loads of little things. Just get your toe in the door and then see what there is out there. Leon, as far as you're concerned, if you're quite good at mimicry and accents and things like that, I don't know what it is, but most actors, not all, but most actors that I know have a really, really good talent for accents or mimicry. How are you with accents, Danny?
I'm all right.
See what I mean, babe? Just
you know what I'm saying. I'm all right. Anyone can do the London accent, can't they? I was doing the Australian accent earlier, and I was talking about going down the lake, and I'm still sounding like a Cockney. No, I'm shit at accents.
Yeah, shut up, Dan.
Yeah, shut up. You're great at accents. Do you Scouser?
And I can't really do fucking Scouse. Scouts? When I get put on the spot, or like, I think if a Scouser was listening, they'd be like, she don't even sound Scousey. Ew. Yeah. I'm in the show, so everyone can see me. I think, yeah, if you feel like you enjoy it, all that kind of carrying, I honestly think you might have a bit of raw talent there.
I mean, what's the worst? I always say, do something that scares you. Do it. What's the worst that can happen? Don't obviously start balancing on top of the skyscraper. No. Not that kind of do things that scare you, but do something that puts you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely.
And what's the worst that can happen? You can fail. Well, that's it. I mean, even if you fail and embarrass yourself, people have forgot about it within 5 minutes anyway. So do it. Do it
as well. With the acting, it's a bit like Leon said. It's like the school play. You stood there, the sweat's trickling down your back, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Nobody else is feeling like that when they're watching you. So your fear is because you think everyone's like,
yeah, exactly.
They're actually not. They're really not.
And you know what you said about being an extra and watching the other actors. I mean, I've done quite a few bits of extra roles, and I had a featured extra role, which means he's basically still furniture in this scene. But I was in a scene with Sean Bean. It was in Curfew, and it was Sean Bean, Chris Riley, who's now a good friend of mine, and a girl from America, and I can't remember her name, unfortunately. And Sean Bean, he had to come out of the back of a trailer. And while he was in the back of the trailer, I was stood there watching him, and he was constantly pulling out his lines, going over his lines, talking, pacing backwards and forwards, putting them back in his pockets. And I thought, you're at the top of your game, and you're doing nothing different than I do when I'm on the set and trying to remember my lines and stuff like that. It takes all the mystique out of the way. So I would say, if you're curious about acting, get on the extra scene. There's loads online. If you put how do I become an extra in Google, find your local extra agency. There's loads. Get on set, and all the mystique will be taken away. It will ruin your TV and film watching forever. However, you will see how everything works, and it is amazing. It is amazing. You know, it's like watching a tight scene between two people, and it's very intimate. But when you walk backwards and look, there's about 300 people around these people and cameras, and it's like it takes all the mystique away, and it takes that fear away of having a go.
Yeah.
Theatre is the crikey. That's a bad Aussie accent. Someone's saying, crikey. Oh, here we go. Scraps are happening. What kind of farmer are you? So, what have you got planned next, then? Before we go on to the bit that you've been dreading, what's next? How are you going to pan out now?
So I'm waiting for the release of Noir. Not that anything particularly amazing was going to happen for me on the release of Noir, but I'm hoping that the show might get picked up, because it's just beautiful. I'm so proud of it. I'd like to do that. I'm involved in a feature film called Watching Goldfish Suffocate, which is the true story of a friend of mine's battle with mental health, and he was sectioned.
Really?
Yeah, he was sectioned for quite some time. Had a really bad psychosis and stuff. He's also an actor. Dave DiGiorgio, in fact, who told me about Craig in the first place. I've got a little beanie part on that with him, which I'm really looking forward to. Of course, there is Noir, and I'm hoping to do something a lot bigger as well, but I can't say anything about that.
Don't say anything. Don't ruin it. Do not ruin it. I know it's so hard not to tell people. Want to tell people.
It would be a regular role on a very well-known soap opera as the mother of a new family. So, mate, please keep everything crossed.
I really, really want you to do a fucking amazing. I really do. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
Also, if any of you want your lips doing or a bit of Botox, that's my other job. Should we let you have a little look? I'm actually sat in my beauty room. There's boxes everywhere.
Why are you showing that when it's a mess?
Look how
there we go. That's a bit better.
Pretty. So, so that's what I do for the money. But it's great because I'm my own boss. So some Hollywood comes knocking. I'm like, just have to wait there a minute now, my little lip girl. So then I've got to go off and be a Hollywood superstar. But it's not happened yet, so I'm still doing lips.
I'm going to do some terrible audio commentaries podcast as practice. I did a voiceover for a documentary about people who hear voices in the head. And I had to basically shout abuse, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
You do that every day anyway, don't you?
My auntie's a makeup artist. My uncle a cameraman. He has worked on Bond, loads of other big projects. We don't care, Vegan Pixie Warrior. We don't care. We don't care what you stop. I don't care. She knows she's horrible. She's always picking on me. Always picking on me. Anyway, Emma, wild story, darling. Wild story. I'd just like to read a few things. Carrot munching bastard, carrot munching wanker, salad scourer, lettuce botherer, right? These are just 4 names that Emma's called me in the past due to my veganism. So my question to you
Carrot
now.
crunching bastard, I think, is my favourite.
Yeah. How many gallon butter would you make Grumpy look younger? I will chip in. You're a cheeky bastard.
I'm an aesthetician, not a fucking magician. There's no. I just,
Whoa!
Yeah.
You haven't seen Mooncat yet.
It's all right. They're all going to be shouting at me soon.
So let me ask you a question. Right, this is a vegan channel as well as I like to mix it up with the acting and everything. But what are your thoughts, bearing in mind that the whole audience is probably vegan apart from a few odds and sods? Why are you not vegan yet, Emma?
Quite a few reasons, and I'm sure you've heard them all before. Number one is I really enjoy meat. I know that's that, but you want me to give you an honest answer?
Yeah, of course. No one's going to judge you.
How I think you guys want me to answer it, because that would be shit.
Yeah.
So if I say something that you're like, that's terrible, tell me. I'm not going to cry. So I'd like you, let's do it. So I love meat. There's a lot of meat I can do without, and I could do without all meat. However, I don't have the knowledge or the time, or so I think, to learn about the alternatives and to even try them. I really hate Linda McCartney. I don't know why, but if I see her name on sausages, I don't want to fucking eat them. She's a twat. My mother never liked her. Anyway, so I don't like Linda. But, yeah, honesty is best. So I do like my meat. Secondly, because I've got 3 kids, they're kind of grown now, I know that they all wouldn't be vegan. So it'd be, I'm vegan, this one's that, he'll have sausages, that one won't. And it's a time thing.
Convenience.
That's what I was looking for, convenience. Which I'm also not happy to conveniently go around having animals die for my convenience.
How do you feel about that? I mean, we were talking earlier. You see a lot of my posts. How's that influenced you?
Well, it's influenced me not enough to have me make a change yet, Danny. And if I told you otherwise, I'd be a liar.
Of course.
But it has. I know that one day I might not be vegan, Danny, but I know I'll be vegetarian one day. I know that I will be. It could be when the kids leave home and it's easier for me to be able to make that switch and adapt. But something that really stuck with me. I think my dog's outside. 1 minute. She's crying in the rain. 1 minute.
Go on, bring her in.
Come on, little girl. Oh, dear. Oh, there's 2 of them. It's a little wet doggy. Come here. Now, come here. Oh, there's 3 of them. They're all here.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people saying Linda McCartney's not that good anyway, and I agree. But there is some stuff that's really nice.
Oh, good, yeah. She's a.
Oh, what's your little doggy called?
Well, we've got Tallulah, Marnie, and Mabel. I'll get Mabel now. Come on then. Come on, little girl. So, right, you have to be very good, ladies. Would you like to meet the doggies?
Yeah, of course. We always like to meet our friends.
Here is Mabel. Say hello, Mabel. Mabel's very excited. Mabel actually got stolen when she was a puppy. We had these 4 guys come into our house and steal all the pups from the mum. Right, we can stop.
Really?
This. Yeah, it's awful. Not nice. Anyway, what
you've not had much body luck, have you?
I don't have much luck, do I really?
This is what I think. It's creative people. We just get really bad luck, and that's why we're so superstitious.
Maybe people who get bad luck are the ones who are able to cope with it. My mum said that God will only give you what you can cope with. I think God thinks I'm a fucking ninja. What was we saying? Right, about the cows. Now,
yeah.
You put something on. We had a little chat because I'm always winding you up saying, carrot cruncher and everything else. But you know I'm only kidding.
Of course.
I'm a huge animal lover, and I don't like my part in their slaughter. I have a friend who owns a farm as well, and he has a lot of sheep on his farm, and I've since found out that when you have roast lamb, it's always a boy. When you have a steak, it'll always be a boy cow, you know, unless they just have a massive surplus.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Do you know that the majority of the steak in this country is from spent dairy cows who can no longer produce any more milk? And that's usually after about 7 years, when they could normally live till about 18, 19 years. So, yeah, they were actually worked into the ground. So yeah.
I thought maybe cows were like sheep. Like when the sheep gets old, it's mutton, isn't it? So, and nobody wants that. So I thought the same would be for cows. Like when they get old, their meat would be tough or whatever. But the thing that really upset me, almost as much as the actual slaughter itself, is the fact that you put something on a little while ago, Danny, and it was talking about how kids go and the dairy cow farms and how cute, and actually no, kids, it isn't cute. And that really struck with me at how cruel it is. Like
the CBeebies one.
Yes.
Like, when I react to the CBeebies.
The kids are feeding the calf with a bottle, and I've taken my kids. I remember taking them to Stockley Farm. I don't know if you know it. When they were little, and they go on the hay ride, and then they feed all the lambs, and yeah, you made such a good point. Why isn't that calf drinking from its mother's teat?
Yeah.
Because we're all drinking it. Why should our babies drink that baby's mother's milk? Like, it's wrong. It's wrong. And, you know, we live in a world back hundreds of thousands of years ago when the cavemen were about. I guess they had to kill the odd thing, you know? There wasn't all these alternatives, or maybe there was.
There weren't no Asda. Only in Fred Flintstone's movies, yeah.
There was no corn. Linda McCartney was, you know... it was difficult, but, you know, we live in a world that we don't have to keep killing animals to survive.
I mean, all you have to do, really, Emma... I mean, if you ever get a chance, watch a documentary called Dominion, and it will make you cry. It will make you cry. But it's the truth.
Will it make you be a vegan?
And I've never. It could do, yeah. I mean, why not? There's another documentary called The Game Changers as well, which uses science about all the athletes. There's a lot of athletes right now who are vegan, but they won't say nothing. Not because they're embarrassed about being vegan, but because they don't want the competitors to know why they're doing so fucking good in the sport.
Well, this is what I was going to say, Danny, because, you know, I know you're a married man, but bloody hell. I mean, you think to yourself, I would anyway, you know, I'm a woman of a certain amount of years. It tends to be all the younger ones who are like really up with the vegan stuff. But my kids are 23, 21 and 17. Go away, Marnie, you silly woman. What was I saying?
I forgot.
Yeah, I
forgot. But hang a minute. Leon says, makes me want to cook for you, vegan by the way, and let you taste some slamming dishes.
Woo!
I mean, Emma, I don't think Emma's got a problem with eating anything vegan. I think what you're saying to me is that you've got 3 semi-adult kids, and it's a bit. I mean, you could try introducing like different options in. But do you know something? I know what you're saying about the convenience, and I know what you're saying about like people our age. It is we've spent a lifetime of indoctrination, and it does seem like a big leap. But if there's one thing I would ask you to give up, because there's that many alternatives out there now, is dairy. Dairy. That's the first one to try and give up, because that is the most cruel. I mean, they're all cruel, but that is the most cruel. But milk is full of estrogen, and it fucks up female hormones, the mammalian estrogen, so it fucks up your hormones. It's been linked to breast cancer. It's been linked to prostate cancer in men. It's one of the most volatile fluids you can put in your body. That liquid is there to grow a little baby cow into a 2-ton animal. It's like Why are we drinking it? Why are we drinking it? You know. So I would say to you, phase out the milk and the dairy, the cheeses first, and then gradually introduce and have a go at some of these mock meats, because some of them are amazing. I mean, you wouldn't eat your little doggy there, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Not even with some tartar sauce or a bit of...
Absolutely not. But do you know? Right, hold on. Now they're messing about. Now you're being quite naughty, all of you, are you? Just sit down now. No, not on my chair. For God's sake. Here we are now.
Vegan mutton. Look at that. A Caribbean place near Chris Grant does vegan mutton. It's incredible.
Oh, you see? Oh, my God. Where is that place? Because...
Well, I think Chris Grant's down south. I think he's down in... Whereabouts are you, Chris? I'm sure you said you're in Bournemouth or somewhere like that.
Oh, it would be. Bloody miles away.
Well, you've got V-Rev in Manchester, Emma. Well, I'll have to take you to V-Rev. They do tuna, they do burgers, they do hot dogs, and you will not tell the difference.
Is it like a takeaway? Yeah.
Well, it's a takeaway or sit-in once they open properly, but you can still get takeaway.
When are they all opening now? I'm getting confused. Tomorrow.
Well, the gyms are opening
on Monday.
Beer gardens, but I don't think restaurants can open yet, because only sort of outdoor stuff. But I don't see why they're opening gyms but not allowing restaurants to open. So
look how I'm being stalked. Look at them all.
Why not eat them doggies but eat them cows, pigs, chickens and fishes?
Okay.
Right, well, listen, folks. Any questions for Emma? I'm just going to switch my lights on a minute. Any questions for Emma? Because we're going to start winding it down now. 1 second.
What are you doing?
There. We can see my beautiful face again. Any questions out there, guys, or anything you want to put to Emma? Anything at all? She's definitely going to watch Dominion. I'm going to make her watch Dominion.
I am now. Is that a movie, Dominion?
It is a movie. It's a documentary.
Will Emma take up Challenge 22? What's that?
Right, Challenge 22. You can go on Facebook and look for Challenge 22, and you get mentors to help you. Actually, and it's like a 22-day challenge, and they'll give you advice on what to buy, what to get, and all this stuff. I
actually think if I had the knowledge, then I would be able to make that switch, you know. And maybe I've been a bit lazy on my part, or not fully committed, and you know, I know my daughter. And maybe it could be that my daughter and I both do it, and maybe the boys can join us when they see it's okay and food's not so bad, you know. Vegan products are big sellers. Does your Botox contain animal? No, it's not cross-linked with any animal products, so we're all good. It's safe for vegans. What would you consider the highlight of your career, other than being on my YouTube, of course? Thank you, Level. I think my highlight of the career is pretty sad, because I only had 4 words, but it was on Coronation Street. And I think, like a lot of people, I grew up with Coronation Street. Yeah, me too. Yeah. On in the living room. That. It's just, you know, that you hear that theme tune, and for me, it equates so many memories, and you can remember, you know, all the characters, the Enid Sharples and Hilda Ogden, and it's just fantastic. I love it. So for me to actually get on Corrie, and Danny, you'll back me up here, even to get 4 words on Corrie, you've got so much confidence. It's amazing. It's an amazing feat. It's an amazing feat, because once Coronation Street sort of, you get on their radar. I mean, it only takes one little role, and they remember, because what people don't realise is that casting directors never forget a person. They've got amazing memories for people, and they will remember you. It could be 10 years from now, and they'll go, Emma Morgan, yes. They won't forget. Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I had to. I didn't have to. I was lucky enough to be able to go for Joanna Moss to see me, who's the assistant casting director on Corrie. So she will cast the smaller roles. The Russian kidnapper. Why? Right, he's been. Oh my God! It's my friend.
He's been putting this up about 4 or 5 times for me to put up, and it wasn't the right time.
To tell you about a story when we.
What's this Russian kidnapper?
We were in Marbella, and this Russian arms dealer wanted to kidnap me and put me on his boat. And Paul, my friend, who's as gay, is as camp as a row of tents. So for another man, you probably wouldn't think he'd be that threatening because he was a bit like handbags at dawn. But this Russian arms dealer was like, I take your friend. And Paul's like, no, you fucking won't. He stood up, and fought for me in Marbella. I don't know why he wants me to mention that. Nobody cares, Paul. Everybody hates you.
Yeah, so. We do. We like it. We like it.
He's great. You've got to have Paul on. Paul is the farmer I told you about. So we should get Paul on, shouldn't we?
Lolly says, in my opinion, the best way to do it is do it. Thinking about going vegan is difficult when you do it. Just realise it's pretty easy. And you'll look beautiful. You'll look beautiful, you know. It'll retain your looks. It will retain your looks.
I'm not looking so good now. I've got shitloads of makeup on and my diet is shocking. So I do know, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've had so many takeaways since all of this started. Do you know
the boys need to see the Game Changers, yeah. Let your lads watch the Game Changers. They will go. It's on YouTube as well.
My boys are 17 and 23.
They will love it. It's nothing to do with animal. It doesn't show animal abuse at all. It doesn't show animal. It's all about sports and nutrition. It's a bit more of a plant-based film, but it will get them thinking. And if you can get your lads plant-based or vegan, it will be the best thing you'll ever do for them for the health. Honestly, Emma.
My youngest lad, as you know, Danny's very, very good at boxing, but he's been out for a few years. But on Monday, he starts back. He's being trained to go pro by a great trainer up at Champs Camp in Moss Side. So if I could get that boy there onto a really good, strong vegan diet like what you're on, you know, hopefully he's going to be a pro boxer one day. And if he could do that purely on a vegan diet and look as good as
there's a few pro boxers that
aside, Danny, I've seen Danny with no shirt on. I think most of us as he gets on our tits, don't he? He's always getting his body out.
I'd just like to say thank you to Vegan Mooncat. He's given me a super chat. Thank you, Vegan Mooncat. Grumpy's Botox Fund. Take care of the elderly. Cheeky bastard.
Dan, yeah, I was saying, like, your physique is amazing. So all these people, like the you athletes and you boxers and you big gangster boys, you want to, they can all do it. I mean, you're so healthy and fit. It's, you know,
I've never looked back. I mean, the gyms are open on Monday, and I can't wait. And I'm going to smash it. You know what I mean? I'm going to get pile the weight on clean and everything, and I can't wait. And thanks for that, Emma. It's appreciated because there's nothing worse because people like to. What it is people like to not vegans and they don't like to big them up because it just says, well, what I'm doing is wrong, I suppose. So it's a bit of
I think it's the guilt as well. Like, I'm surrounded by these animals. I think it's like the guilt. Like, we know, meat eaters know that eating meat means animals are suffering. And so when somebody who doesn't do that starts telling us about ourselves, I think it's a bit like, whoa, fuck off. It is a bit like that. But I'm, you know, I'm honest enough to say it does bother me and I don't like it. And I love, like, if I took you into my house now, there's pictures of cows all over my house. I love cows. Yeah, I eat steak. So
yeah, it is. When you start thinking about it, it sort of starts to blow your mind a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And you know, I've watched. I never poo-poo anything you say, although we have a little bit of banter, and I call you names and you call me names. I respect that you. I respect what you're doing and how you're trying to educate other people. And it would be really wrong of me just to ignore that because it matters to me, and I want to do something about it. So. Yeah, I'm on the cusp of being a good guy, I think. But Dan, you can send me over some links in a bit. The name of that film, I've forgotten it already. The Game Changer.
Game Changers. Well, I'm going to show you something now. I'm going to show you a vegan boxer.
Okay.
David Hay.
No, really?
Yes, really.
Oh, what are you doing? Stop it.
And you know what I mean? So.
And he's done well
vegan,
for himself.
He's done really well. There's quite a few others as well. Bryant Jennings, Timothy Bradley. Yeah, there's quite a few. Yes, David Ayer beat a 7-foot giant, Nikolai Evaluev for fight. I don't know when he actually went, but yeah, definitely the game changers. You need to watch Dominion. Have a nosy at that.
Dominion for me, and the game changers for the boys.
Watch Dominion with your kids. You won't regret it.
Okay. Yeah.
Lamb is the symbol of innocence, and they're killed as babies. Why? There's literally no need for it.
I know.
Yeah.
You say, don't you, as gentle as a lamb, and
yeah, Patrick Bamumian. He is one. I'll find his picture. He's one of the biggest vegan.
Is he a big old muscle man?
Is what can you say? Strongman.
No.
He does all the strongman shows. You know, like the world's strongest man and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to spell his name right. Let's have a look. Oh, I can't. Where is it? Where's it gone? Dominion Game Changers. Chris Grant. Oh yeah, Nate. He's a cage fighter, isn't he?
So he's got to have some power to him.
Patrick Babumian, yeah. Let me just Google him now. Patrick Babumian.
See past your big ear.
There we got it. We've got him. Let's get some images up of him.
Let's have a look at our Patrick now.
Right, let's have a look at him. Share screen. So this is the guy here. And he lifts some. He's got some world records, and he's a German guy. He does the yoke. Has that come up? Has that popped up?
Yeah,
did that change then? Can you see the yoke there? Yeah, he's just unreal. He's absolutely unreal.
The monster, isn't he?
So maybe show the lads that. Yeah. Nate Diaz is the cage fighter that was trying to think.
Nate, as in
Nate Diaz. Nate, yeah, I think he's actually called Nate Diaz.
I know, Lolly, look at these boobies. These boobies. Sorry, I love him.
Just Google his world record on YouTube, yeah. Show Emma Nimai Delgado. Let's have a look at Nimai. Everyone's piping up now. All these people want you to go for it.
Guys, if you want to message me on Facebook or Instagram, please do. And if you've got any sort of tips for making my transition into veganism or vegetarianism even easier. I say about the vegan, like, I'm not too sure about that because it just seems like, oh, don't eat that, don't wear that, don't. It's just, you know. But I'm going to try.
Here we go.
Nimai Delgado. Nimai.
There's a vegan bodybuilder. There's nothing wrong with that.
Is he married?
That is made of plants. That is made of plants.
Very, very lonely, doesn't he?
He does. I don't think he'd go for a dirty meat eater like you, though, Emma. You know what I mean? with your carnist breath. No, I don't think you'd definitely have to go vegan if you wanted to date that guy.
I think I would do, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
maybe that's the incentive.
Maybe we can, Hench Herbivore is also a tank. Yeah, Hench Herbivore, he's a great vegan YouTuber. Right. Apparently that guy's been vegan in his whole life. So, because he's been
brought up like that way.
Yeah, he's been brought up vegan.
That really big muscly guy then?
Patrick Babumian.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And
Pamela Anderson, she's vegan.
Is she?
Yeah, Pamela Anderson's vegan.
Wow.
Yeah, people think going vegan is extreme until you realise what we do to animals. It's what's extreme, yeah.
Sarah, you're so right. You can't get much more extreme than fucking killing something, can you?
You can't. And we're the ones who are extreme. Our extreme diet. Okay, so any last questions for the lovely Emma before we disappear? Anything at all about the fake Sheikh, about a career, about a potential veganism, Dairy's horrible though. The mothers never get to be with their babies and die in a slaughter when the milk dries up. Yeah,
And
correct.
that's what got me more than anything. That's what got me.
You're a mother. You're a female. Do you know most of the animals that are abused in this industry, though, Emma, are all females, and they're abusing them for the sexual organs. That's all they do. They abuse chickens. It's only females. They grind up all the males up. You know, milk. The females again. Pigs is the only one where they don't give a shit. They just grow the piglets till they're 6 months old, and then they gas them and stab them in the throat. Yeah. Level Joy says, going vegan seems like a huge step from the outside, but in my experience, it's been quite easy. The first 2 weeks or so, I read a lot of labels, but once you know the products, it's like really easy. Good advice, that Level Joy.
I just need to educate myself and know what the option is, the non-meat option or the non-dairy option is. And once I've got my head around it and I've got my, it's all saying, there's not that much to choose from, but I probably have the same 10 things in rotation anyway.
Do you know something though? If you get some beautiful, I buy frozen berries and I do smoothies with them.
Smoothies,
if you get anything purple, is antioxidant.
Right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, very antioxidant. Nuts and seeds are really good for your skin and for good protein. I'll tell you something, your skin will change, your hair will change, your nails will change. Once you cut out, because the meats cause inflammation in your body. The dairy causes a lot of inflammation. Eggs are just packed full of cholesterol. And once you switch, you'll see things change. This is why I changed.
Dairy at all. It would be quite easy for me to cut dairy. I don't like cheese. I don't have yogurts. I don't drink milk. I don't like cereal. I don't have tea or coffee with milk. I do like milkshakes from McDonald's, but I don't believe there's any milk in a McDonald's milkshake, which is why they call them shakes and not milkshakes.
Fake shakes.
Oh my God.
Fake shakes.
I like a fake shake from McDonald's, yeah.
Right, okay. Should we give Emma a challenge to do 2 weeks vegan?
That would be
even
cool.
A tiny gram of animal protein will cause it. How about this? How about you give it a go from next week and give it a 2 week trial and see how you feel? How about doing that for us all these lovely people?
I would love to do that, and I would love to then come back on and let you know what I liked, what I didn't like, whether I think I can stick it out. And I'll be honest, and if you want to shout at me, you can do. I don't mind. Because I think if I don't do it, it's not because I've chosen not to. It's because I haven't been educated quite enough. So it's like you said to me, put your toe in between the door and just do it. You're quite right, Leon, and I do need to do that. So I need to take my own advice there, don't I?
That would be amazing. And you've got such... Oh, even the English farmer Paul says, do it, babe. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, Paul is... Obviously, he's got cattle there, but even Paul, you've been doing quite a lot of vegan sort of and meat substitute stuff. I think he's been using corn and whatnot. Corn. Get her a bit late, but thanks for the video. Ask your boys to watch Dominion. Yes, we've been told about animal exploitation that will make men of them. Thank you. I will do. I really will. But yeah, I want to head that way. I'm not happy with my part that I'm doing with these animals. I love animals, and come on, it's like we don't need to still be eating animals in this day and age, do we?
Well, listen, I'm here anyway. Vegan Mooncat says vegan switch time GVG, which is something
GVG? Oh, that's you, Grumpy.
Yeah, Grumpy Vegan Grandad. Yeah, well, I'm part of the vegan switch, so Emma's just going to come straight to me if she decides to do it, and I'll help her out. It's not a problem, but I'd love all you lot to help her out as well. Get on her Facebook and message her and keep her going.
Send me messages, maybe. Do you know what would be really helpful? Isn't so much as watch this, watch that. I need practical help. What can I make to feed my kids and myself without them going, what is this? They're normal stuff, have you
heard of Richmond sausages?
Yes, I have.
They do a vegan one, and you cannot tell the difference. Both my lads have had it, and they cannot tell the difference.
And are your boys vegan?
No, nobody's vegan in my family. Vegan? I'm the only vegan in my family.
Okay, so it can be done, but then do you do all your own cooking and everything?
Yes, I have to.
Do you have to cook for anybody else but you?
Not often, but however,
It's still
since-
worth the effort, though. It's still. I'm not saying I'm
well,
not going to do it.
what I did was I got Christine to give them these Richmond sausages and not tell them, and they didn't know. They didn't know.
I'm going to do that exact same thing tomorrow.
I'll send some recipes. I love cooking.
Thanks,
Level Joy will get in contact with you.
Thank you, Level Joy.
So keep your eye out on your Facebook for all these messages.
I will do, yeah. I'll have to look in my message requests.
Beyond Burgers in Tesco are amazing. They actually bleed. They
What?
bleed. Yeah, blood comes out of them, but it's beetroot. It's beetroot. That's all it is. But they cannot tell the difference. Watch Hench Herbivore. Avant-garde.
Guys, watching Hench Herbivore, Avant-garde, vegan. They just okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, he is good.
Is there I know there's like loads of chicken and bacon sort of things, alternatives. Is there a decent, get down before I have you slaughtered? Is there a decent lamb, minted lamb, when you're joking, minted lamb type, artificial meat? Is there a good lamb substitute?
Right, so you're asking for, yeah, there is hang on a minute. I'll get on Dr. Google. In the meantime,
my favourite meals, do you know, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I love roast dinners. I could even eat a roast dinner without the meat. It wouldn't bother me. I love potatoes and vegetables. Love them. I don't like cheese, which is great.
We've got the meatless meat-free mince at Asda.
And I can put my mint sauce on, so it would taste like. I quite like cottage pie, shepherd's pie, spag bowl.
There you go. Can you see that?
I love seafood. Am I allowed to eat fish?
Look at that. There you go.
Ooh,
look at that. That's vegan mince. So you can have your shepherd's pie.
Great. What about seafood? Yeah. Am I allowed to eat prawns and stuff?
No, they're all living things. Anything that's alive, don't take the life away from them.
So why do some people do that? Like, what is it called? I can't remember.
Pescatarian.
Why do that? What is it's okay to kill fish.
I'll tell you. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it is. For a start, people don't think fish are sentient. However, fish are sentient. People say that.
What sentient is? What does that mean?
Sentient is. Do you feel love for your kids? Do you feel love? Do you feel sad?
Yeah.
They
have no emotions.
So what sentience is awareness of the world around you. You have feelings. You understand. You fear when you're in danger. You love your kids. Yeah. All animals are sentient. Yeah. All animals, including fish. But some people don't think fish are sentient because obviously they don't blink. They've got no expression on the face. But they communicate in other ways, like different movements or different colours or different sounds. Dolphins.
Have you ever had fish? Have you ever owned fish?
Have I ever owned fish?
Yeah.
I've only won a goldfish at the fun fair that dies within like 3 hours of getting it home.
Yeah, I've had one of those. So I used to have marine fish. They're very, very difficult to keep alive, these marine fish. They're quite hard, to think about. Stop it. So I had these fish and I used to spend hours sitting there mesmerized watching them. And I'm telling you now, those fish have personalities.
Of course they do.
And they have emotions because you can know when they're excited. They would swim differently. They have feelings. I don't care who these people are.
There's one on a documentary that actually builds this nest and decorates it with shells and does all these patterns in it in the sea. It's amazing. Emma, I've got a slamming easy satay sauce I'm willing to share. I'm happy to read. We share a love for cooking. Oh, so you've got two cooks conversing there now. They're going to help you out.
Can we just talk quickly about this?
Yeah, go on.
So they say that a fish has no attention span, forgets things, doesn't remember
Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And you know why?
I went to the Maldives with a boyfriend of mine a few years ago. And I don't know if any of you have been there. It's just unbelievable.
I'd like to go.
So I was lucky enough to stay in one of those water villas. So it's right in the ocean. And we used to go to breakfast each morning. And even though they say don't give fish bread now, don't they? But I didn't know that. So every morning at breakfast, I used to literally take all the bread rolls, and we couldn't wait to get out of there to go back to our little villa and sit on the jetty, and we threw a few bits of bread in. Well, there was tuna fish this big, massive. I can't even do it. The camera's not big enough. Huge triggerfish, shark, reef sharks, and they used to come and eat the bread, right? Every morning we'd go, and by about the third or fourth morning, they'd be there circling, waiting. So don't tell me that fish can't remember.
Exactly.
Every morning they knew. I'd only done it 2 or 3 times, and that was it. They were there every morning. I remember when we were leaving, I was like, no one's going to feed them tomorrow morning. But they came. They knew.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So don't tell me a fish doesn't have any thought, because it does. They knew.
And that's it. And there's actually evidence to show that when you catch a fish, when anglers catch a fish in a lake or wherever, once it's been thrown back in alive, it never goes back to that spot again for up to 2 or 3 years later, because it knows it's scared of being caught.
There you go.
Octopus. Look at how intelligent those are. They've actually done experiments with octopus and had them unscrewing the lids off jars to get to some food. And they've worked it out, it's just unreal. Just unreal. There's a new
adaptable. Yeah, they are. They're incredible. We shouldn't, none of us, no living creature should hurt another living creature. But
yeah.
Some of us can't help it. Animals will do, but we're not. We're we don't need to.
You'll do it.
I'm going to do it.
You're nearly there. You're nearly there.
Soon, you're going to help me anyway, Dan.
Of course I will.
Yeah, you want a wee, don't you, Danny?
I want a wee.
You want a wee, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm a trucker. I can hold it in for hours, me, mate. You want a wee, don't you? You want a wee, don't you?
Yeah,
Well, listen, English Farmer Paul says, I've actually learnt so much here tonight. Well, good to hear, Paul, and I hope you will stop doing what you do to those cows, please. Just get rid of them. Or open a sanctuary. Oh, you said he had cattle.
He has sheep, sorry.
Oh, that's yeah, stop it. Paul, stop it. I don't care if he's lovely or not. Stop enslaving animals, Paul. Get rid of them. Open a sanctuary and we will all help you. We will fund your sanctuary. Open a sanctuary, take in animals that are being abused, that from the industry, and you set up a sort of charity, and I will get people to donate if you do that, Paul. Please, Paul, do that instead.
That's a good idea. And you know what? I won't put it past him to do that. He's very, very kind.
We raise thousands for these sanctuaries. We raise thousands for them.
Yeah.
Vegan Mooncat says, I would take a week to plan before starting the 2 weeks, though. If you don't plan things, failure's around the corner. Vegan Mooncat was on a slimming show on Channel 4 or Channel 5 a few weeks ago. Okay. And he actually had an heart attack. He lost like 4 of me off his weight because he was seriously obese. He was morbidly obese. And because he went on a plant-based diet, he lost all the weight and he's reversed his heart disease, everything. He's done amazing. The only bad thing about that TV show was he wore a pink suit. Yes.
There's nothing wrong with pink.
He wore a pink suit. Yeah, it was. Nothing wrong with pink, but it just didn't look right on him.
To wear pink. To wear pink.
We would support you, Farmer Paul. Yeah. Stop abusing the sheep, my man. Stop it.
He's actually very, very kind to a lot of them, and I don't think.
Is he kind when they go to the slaughterhouse then, or to the baby lambs? Is he nice to the baby lambs when he stabs them in the throat and cuts the legs off for Easter?
Don't. I don't do it.
Paul, anyway. We're watching you, mate. We're watching you. Do a sanctuary. You'll get so much support.
Yeah. You would. I'm going to ring Mark when I get off the phone and bully him.
Yeah, bully him. Wait till you're vegan first, then you bully him. Wait till you're vegan first. Get your arguments in. Right, well, listen.
Guys, seriously, send me some recipes and stuff so that I can plan and I don't fail, because that will happen. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he's doing all that.
I know. Well, we've got no sympathy for him. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. This is what we're fighting against, to stop animal agriculture, unfortunately. So we're trying to stop it. So we're not going to give him any sympathy, but we will give him so much support if he opens a sanctuary instead. We will give him so much support. Right, DJ Cat, my phone is down to 1% and it's 5 a.m. DJ Cat, thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world.
DJ Cat.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Listen, thank you everybody who's joined the stream. Thanks for my super chat. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for all the questions. Big thank you to Emma for opening up and telling us her story. It will be great. Tori Santana, I will send recipes. I am the, what does Ellen Orley say? I am the world's worst cook and we eat well every day. Well,
Brilliant.
there you
That'll
go.
do for me, Helen.
Yeah, the little motivation is all you need.
It is.
The irony that people think vegans are aggressive for speaking up when we're actually supportive of all people who love animals.
Of course
Correct,
you
my
are.
friend.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Paul, be
Thank
a
you for
hero.
having me.
Speak to you all later. Peace.
Bye.